Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. We are into our second quarter-final. One of these teams will be joining Optic in the semi-final stage. And, well, it was a close affair over on the choice of Big. They just managed to scrape it through. And if anything, ENCE are going to be feeling a bit hard done by 15-11 up. One round out of the four, and they would have had themselves that first map victory. Instead, though, we now go into nuke, and they have got to come back.
Yeah, double overtime game. All the rounds here for this first map of the semi-final and quarterfinal, sorry. And as you say, nuke. This is a bit of an interesting one. Obviously, you know, finally reaching a map that both teams definitely put more time into. So I'd like to say that, okay, yeah, ENCE could certainly bounce back. You know, again, their map picked their chance to do it. But the question is, like, how are they going to react after losing that game? Not only are they exhausted, because I'm sure they are after 40-plus rounds of CS, but also mentally, right? The inexperience of these guys could certainly come through and maybe bite them back, whereas Big are going to be so confident, and you can't let Smooth get confident because, I mean, we already saw what he did. He's just insane.
Well, yeah, that's the sort of thing. Like, a lot of the times, if the first map is like a blowout, a team can very easily reset and come back in. But we've even seen it with like teams like the old Na'Vi. I remember I think it was one of the grand finals versus like SK or Luminosity or whichever they were at the time, where the first map was so close they lose it in like second or third OT and get banged the next map because they just weren't ready. Like, they're just so demoralized at that point that you just get destroyed.
Even if it's a close game and you're the one pulling it back and you just lose, that's not as bad as the situation ENCE were in. As you said, 15-11 up, like that's their game every time. They put Big on the low buy and still Big get away with it. So yeah, certainly an awkward game to lose if you are ENCE, but let's not count either team out here, Tom. As shown by that insane previous map, anything can happen here in the quarterfinals of StarSeries as we head into the second one. And with nuke being the battlefield as well, it's not like Big are rare to touch nuke overtimes. They've already done this this tournament, unfortunately losing it to Fraxes in that Swiss format as well for their opening game, but maybe they've learned from their mistakes. Maybe they look back on things.
Also, with such a close game versus Fraxes, Fraxes, I would say, have looked like a pretty damn good nuke team from what we've seen so far. So, in all honesty, like, I expect a fair bit from ENCE, considering this is the map they've actually chosen going into this series. But the fact is, I'm not by any stretch counting Big out. Also, I see, like, looking at the statistics, seeing that, in all honesty, they don't have the best stats over on nuke. Like, they're fairly low, but I feel like a lot of the competition they actually play against is like they're tough competition. Like, if you ever see it in like Pro League or anything like that, it's against some of the like better teams. And in all honesty, I think the Big will have a much better opportunity to show us what they've got on nuke here.
Yeah, this is something that they were kind of alluding to on the desk without being sure that I can kind of confirm is that, you know, they were saying, you know, why is Big so confident coming into so many of these games in the sense of they don't always win. You know, they're not always the team that maybe they expect themselves to be in some sense, and a lot of that is down to, as assumed, I think Sean was talking about it, their prac. Like, I talked to Smooyer and he goes on about how, like, Big in prac are really, really good. And again, prac is prac, right? Let's remember that. Officials are a very different situation, but that's where Big get a lot of their confidence. I can imagine, you know, being able to rival with some of the best teams in the world and be able to put up a lot of rounds on practice servers. So let's see if it translates to the official matches here. It certainly did on Overpass, but now we head into nuke map. They have 25 win percentage on, but they've only played it 4 times, Tom. So let's not count them out of this one. Again, this is something they've already, you know, played plenty of times before. So let's find out. Let's stop guessing and jump into this one.
Well, the other thing that we were sort of looking at is in this tournament so far, nuke has been one of the more T-sided maps, which has been really interesting. It was either second or third, I believe, in the statistics for how T-sided it was.
Yeah,
so
third most.
More T rounds have been won than CT rounds, which is kind of insane. I do feel like a lot of that comes down to like the vent change, and like a lot of teams just seem to be very good at just finding a lot of those opening picks. Also pistol rounds as well. I think a lot of them have been going the T way. But yeah, I haven't seen like a particularly impressive CT side as of recent. So I'll be interested to see. Obviously, we've got the CT side start for Big. In terms of the betting, I believe that this one will actually be correct, which is nice. So that's understandable, obviously, going into their map choice, a highly played map by the side of ENCE. But I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit closer than those odds may actually suggest.
Yeah, 2.44 to Big. I assume that's just for this map, right? 2.44 to Big after being a map up in a series is is definitely a chance for you to make some money. So if you are interested, the official the official Starladder code SLTV over on loot.bet you can use for a bit of bonus moolah.
Also, I believe you can still win prizes as well, isn't it? live.starladder.com.
Oh yeah, you can. Win, watch, and do all of that.
Obviously, you can go and jump in there and get yourself the chance to win some prizes without having to bet any of your money, which that's always good. Like, why bet money when you can just get stuff for free?
Live.starladder.com. Head over there now. But ENCE versus BIG. This is the second map here, Tom. I hope it holds up to as exciting as the first one was. BIG did get that CT pick after winning knife round. But a utility on God B. No kit in the pistol round here, surprisingly enough. ENCE have gone for a very similar buy. And already, Sergey, he's going to get naded. That's a nice chunk of utility, taking some damage from the side of BIG. ENCE have set up outside of this ramp room for a quick burst play. We've got Tizian playing close, Smooya on the corner as well. And this is good because Smooya could take the attention away from ENCE, and then Tizian can do the damage.
Ready, Smooya. Try and find the opener here. Tizian will be able to get a kill, but Alexi B, again, he's kicked things off with a bang. Gob trying to find something back, but isn't going to be able to. And the T side have started off their pistol round well. Also, Alu looking to be the sort of snake in the grass. I think he's timed this very well. Next, actually going to try and sneak away through the vent, but he is completely caught with his pants down. And now Tabson and Gob B trying to do absolutely everything. Gob from above has managed to do a little bit of damage. He does have a smoke, but as you mentioned, there's no kit for the CT side.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Next crawled into the vents there. Maybe some misinformation or getting confused by some of the sounds, but yeah, Alu's going to be able to take another one down as Tabson gets shot right in the skull. And with that, BIG, they're going to lose out on this pistol round. ENCE start things off on the T side of their map pick, exactly how you would have hoped. And again, as you said, Tom, this map has been more T-sided here at StarSeries. For whatever reason that may be, ENCE are proving it here with their first.
Yeah, I think probably, I don't know if the stats are true. I'd be interested if anybody would be able to find out if this is the most T-sided we've ever seen nuke in a tournament.
I think this is the most T-sided we've had Counter-Strike as a whole anyway, right? The ability to win these force buy rounds, the crushing of an economy on the CT side that can be so detrimental to you winning rounds, the amount of double ecos we see nowadays,
and this
SMGs.
Is before the economy update.
Yeah, right.
So imagine like what's going to happen when the economy update comes through. Ooh. I think that'll make things even more T-sided, which definitely going to be interesting, especially when you include like bomb plants and also the fact that just ecoing after losing that first round will actually be quite helpful to the T side. Either way, we do have a purchase back in for both sides. A Deagle brought up onto Tizian. Well, basically brought up by Smooya so that he has been dropped to scout. Trying to get him to roam the outside. Now, Tabson is waiting down below in secret just in case X7 does try to duck down. But it is looking like Tizian's going to be the one challenged. Only has a Deagle, doesn't have anything else to play with. The SMG is going to be leading the charge, while the AK's somewhat playing a little bit more defensive, not wanting to risk too much. Tizian in a good position here, a little bit of an off angle, which they may not clear straight away. Doesn't manage to connect the shot, but does give an opportunity. Nice shot onto the first at least, but will be very quickly traded out. And Alexi B, again, so good at finding these openers.
Yeah, through the smoke as well down on that B site to find the second. Nice opening kills for ENCE, and again, Nex and Smooya are all that remain. That should be a free kill. Nex, nice shot. Is going to be able to take down X7, but it's only an SMG dropped away a BIG. They may as well save that, go into that next round with a bit of a buy. Of course, it is still going to be the eco round for the Germans, but with something behind it, such as a CZ getting dropped over. Nex can play the UMP. Smooya has a scout. It's not the be-all and end-all.
Yeah, of course, for the T side, they don't really want to lose any more of their weaponry. So far, only losing a couple of SMGs and not really anything to write home about for the big side, but losing an AK would definitely be pretty painful for the side of ENCE. However, though, they have got off to a strong start in this T side. And I think that's always important, although we are sort of talking quite a bit about how we have seen some more T-sided halves of nuke. It's definitely going to be the case that you don't want to allow the CT side to build up a lot of economy. You don't want to allow Smooya to be getting that AWP outside. You want to be basically limiting this CT side as much as humanly possible.
Definitely the start ENCE would have needed regardless. Even with things being T-sided at the moment, you still want to pick up that pistol round. You still want the 3-0 start. And again, that can convert to a 5-0 very easily if you win your first rifle round. So As we head into our last anti-eco of this start, Big, again, exactly as how we assumed, Tabson on the CZ, next on the saved UMP, and he's up in main, but ENCE are going very quickly towards his yard position. No smokes to cover, and that's because they're playing up against pistols. You don't want to give Big any opportunity to close the gap and get close up through these smokes. So ENCE just roam the yard with these AKs. Next is stuck in main. He's surely going down there. And Ali will get dinked down to just 19 points of health, but he still gets a frag. One by one, Big are getting picked apart in this round, and only Godby and Tizian remain. This shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Yeah, there'd have to be some pretty big mistakes here. Maybe if Alu goes for a bit more of a peak, then he could find something. But other than that, I think this is just going to be a simplistic cleanup and may even be able to keep this one nice and flawless. And they will. Wonderful stuff from ENCE, and now moving into the buy round for Big. This is where things should get a little bit more interesting. Now, early on, they do not have that AWP, so we'll still be a little bit missing in their buy so far. Those are still the same odds, aren't they?
Yeah, from the first map, the start of the first map. Well, those aren't live, but if you want some live odds, head over to loot.bet. Either way, now we have the buy round for Big. This is what we've been waiting for. Rifles up. Interested to see if we have the AWP. No, but Godby, he's got full Oscar here on nuke. He's got the shotgun out, Tom. I know you're a big fan of shotguns. You're in full support of that weapon, so we're going to be seeing him utilize that probably close up towards this A site. It's very common to see that in the hut position, maybe the squeaky door. Look at Smooya's position though. Alexi B going to run on fire, and he gets the frag. No head armor for Smooya in this first rifle round. He opted to get nades, and instead his head get ripped off as Tizian now sits alone on the round 1-for-1 as the bomb gets dropped, but quickly retrieved from ENCE, who take over this B bomb site. Yeah,
another brilliant start to the round for this T side, and well, although Godby will like that shotgun when it comes to the sort of close range A pushes. Not so valuable when he's looking for any sort of retake, but he will get nice and close to Alu, unfortunately jumping past the angle. And Alu probably won't get an easier kill all day. Tabson and next, they're just going to try and save onto what they've got. And so it will be a fourth round, 2,900 into the accounts of Big, but can't really expect for them to go for too much. Maybe just a pistol or two. Obviously, depending on what Godby plans to actually buy in the next round. Maybe he'll want another X7, so maybe he'll actually buy one into the next round to try and do some damage. I doubt it. I think it'd be a bit of a weird decision. Tabson will at least clear out Alu and make things a little bit more costly for the T side, but the fact is they had that as sort of a bonus round. They had the SMG still in play. They were looking to just farm up some extra cash, and that's exactly what they've done.
And this is the 5-0 lead that you can always get after winning that first buy round as a terrorist. Again, so difficult to buy up as a CT side. So half buy can come through here. Big putting a little bit of money around these rifles. Smooya should be saving here if he wants that AWP, and I'm sure he does. But for now, ENCE is still keeping the full-on rifles. I'm surprised to not even see like an SMG here, friends, to be honest, instead of rebuying two rifles. Chances are, if they have a flawless round, that means they're not going to be able to pull out the AWP. But again, a lot of teams don't like pulling out the AWP on T-side nuke, and we'll see if ENCE are one of them. At least today. Nice nade.
Yeah, double nade stack will do a little bit of extra damage. Smooya's been dropped to CZ just to allow him to have some extra cash going into the next round. And there's still a chance that maybe someone like Tabson could try and drag this round through. He already manages to find the first, and that gives a little bit more space to Smooya, who's still up close. Peeks round, does a lot of damage, but doesn't manage to net himself the frag. He's still setting things up to give Tabson a bit more of a chance, and with the low HP on one, Alu with a nice shot. It doesn't matter, he may be low, but he is not done just yet. Godby has to be careful pushing around this door. Alexi B is just around the corner, and they actually both tried to open the door at once. It's a bit of a messy fight, and surely Alexi B is dead here. He's got X7 to help him out. But he will fall. Actually, next with a quick double actually makes things a little bit interesting here. Alu so low on HP. Sergey going to be the one to actually go and try and plant the bomb. Now, I'm hoping that we'll see Tizian be the bait and try and basically hand his teammate a couple of extra kills. It hasn't really worked particularly well, and Alu once again peeking out 3 kills while low on HP. A good round from him. And
that's really nice, right? Tizian goes for that reload, and Sergey peeks off the back of it, and then as the last player's got his attention on the left side of the site at Sergey, Alu peeks from the right. So it's a good crossfire from ENCE, and they actually get aggressive as well, try and shut down the retake before it even begins. Big still should be happy with that round. They got 3 kills with a half buy. They had 2 saved guns. They had a couple of people investing in pistols, but here's where they can actually, you know, break the money. Well, not here, because ENCE have like $8,000 a player, but get themselves on the board and start breaking the money. It's a bit of a process here, as ENCE have all the cash in the world. Ooh. That's always awkward.
Yeah,
and that jump will be heard.
A little bit of trouble here. Smooth's going to be the one to actually kick things off, and the utility being expended. Tizigan, that's an aggressive push. He manages to burn one and kill the other, leaving 2 players left. X7, well, he'll leave it onto 1, as Aerial has everything to do and nothing to do it with. It will be 5-1 Big swiftly onto the board. Now they're not, oh, maybe they did. Yeah, I think Next just about managed to retrieve that AWP. It looked like it was about to hit the deck. Of course, as you said, there is so much money on that T side. They're not going to have any trouble to buy back into this round. They're not worried as of yet. In fact, even going into the next round, if they get a bomb plant, they're going to be flawless in how much money they actually have. And even without it, it would still be possible to buy. I think it would just be Aerial, maybe on an SMG. Everybody else would be absolutely fine. So not really any worries yet for ENCE, and they've already got 5 rounds.
Yeah, this is a great T-side start, and they want no time of stopping it. Alexi going to dive down towards this lower bomb site. He's already in B within seconds, and they say vent dives are done. There's no bomb here for ENCE to get a quick plant. It is not that eco, but Big surely are aware of the possibility of a player getting down towards this lower site, and we are going to see that rotate from Smooth. I don't think he's ready for this. I don't think they realize Alexi is this deep. Tizian has no idea. He's not watching his lower ramp, and ENCE are ready to burst the second Alexi gets into position. Nice frag. Smooth caught with his pants down is just going to retreat, running back. Right on him, because Alexi is about to put the pressure onto this site. He smokes off the Molotov, runs right through, he sees a trajectory, and that's another free kill. Alexi opening up this round in a huge way. Alu may be going down in the meantime, but so will the bomb getting planted on this lower site next, keeping things even.
Even still, though, this is such a difficult position to get back from. godb has to try and rotate through the vents, which is firmly under the control of the T's, although the timing somewhat works in his favor. Alexi is still around this corner. godb goes jumping through, but just about managing to survive. The problem is they need the kills, and Next goes down instead. godb left all alone, and he will fall. A fantastic turnaround, and Alexi, I don't know what it is. So he's in-game leader, fragging like hell. I think he may even be top of the board at the moment, or he's very, very close. I think he may actually overtake, or may have just overtaken Alu. I think he's on a similar kill distribution as him. Not only that, but he manages to just cause an absolute nuisance.
Or a nuisance. No, not good. Don't like that pun. Come on, Tom, you're the one of bad puns. Either way, Big, yeah, that's their money broken, Tom. That's a bounce back from ENCE in a big proportion. Silence.
Gone? Yeah.
Well, hopefully that will come back. I'm sure.
If anything, this is probably what ENCE was hoping for. Silence. They want to reduce Smooya's impact by, well, putting him to bed, I suppose.
Oh, nice nade. Does tag Alexi, but he's going to get out of that one alive. Alu's still firing shots in through the squeaky door as well. Oh yeah, you do the sound effects. I'll cast that. That's how we'll do it. Just really delayed. What does a footstep sound like, Tom? You play Minecraft over here.
Yeah, every day.
Well, Alu's even opened up in this round. That's a squeaky door pick into main. Big again, not much stake in this round. There's only Tabson with 1 rifle. godb armored up, but by and large, Tabson going to be smoked off in main, and that opens up the A site for ENCE to completely collapse onto. Aerial does get caught outside. Nice dig from Smooya. That'll pull it back to a 4v4, but they don't have a flashbang to pop Tabson through the smoke, so he's just got to go in dry. It will work out for a bit of damage, but Alu finds the shot, and with that, these pistols are going to fall apart.
Oh, Tizian does manage to drop the bomb, and there's not that much time. Alu's pretty low as well. If he can manage to get this kill, he actually has an opportunity, but, well, eventually the T side will hunt him down. Smooya left alone. If he can somehow drop the bomb, maybe there's a tiny chance they can steal this round away, but I think the smoke is just going to leave him isolated, and with his spamming, his silence deagle through the smoke, he is going to try and just save this AK. Obviously, it will be a 7th round on the board now for the T side. An excellent start to this nuke game. Now, obviously, we are saying that we've seen a lot more T-sided nuke recently, but not to this extent. A 7-1 start is damn impressive from ENCE.
There we go. It's all back. I messaged production. Smooth's doing his best to take this AWP away, but he's going to run right into Sergey. 7-1 up here with the Germans. Never a fun scoreline. Flashbacks already. And a bit of a pause here for Big as they realise that they want to have a little bit of a chat. Or maybe it's actually a technical, yeah. You can see,
I'm almost proud of you. Did you just make a football reference?
Yeah, everyone knows the 7-1 joke.
Yeah, I know, but like, do you know who they were against?
Brazil.
Oh, there you go. Wow, that's your one piece of football knowledge.
There we go. And yeah, no, I have another piece of football knowledge.
Oh, go on.
They used to, hundreds of years ago, kick a pig's bladder around.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be like modern day, but
No.
yeah, that works too, I suppose.
Well, a bit of a technical pause here. We saw Twister take off his headset, so maybe a problem on ENCE's side.
He's got it the wrong way around.
I'm not seeing a problem on ENCE's side personally. I'm seeing seven. Oh, that's a horrible joke. I only just got that. I'm seeing 7 rounds for the finish. They have started off this map in storm. But again, take into account, we already saw that previous map, how dominant it was for ENCE at one point, and Big still able to pull it back. We had 4 match points or map points that ENCE managed to lose, and even a double overtime with a lot of close rounds. So I am not going to count either team out and until one team has taken this map.
Yeah, it was a 5-0 start for them in the previous map as well. So the thing is, though, on this map, I feel like it's much more of a problem. Because, although I can expect to see a bit more on the T side, if this goes too much further, I just don't see any way for Big to actually bring this back. It was actually them throwing the map away versus Fragsters after being in a pretty hefty lead and just Fragsters showing them what they can do on the other side. And so far have looked pretty impressive on this map, and they've got so much money in the bank, even after a few closer rounds. Sergey so far has only died once, which is a pretty good start. Alexi B as well, he's only died twice.
And Alu at the top of the scoreboard, that's a big factor. Look at how, not silent, but we were expecting a lot from him on a very AWPer-based map like Overpass, and he kind of really didn't step up to expectations, and that was a bit of a shame to see. He did eventually pull it back by the end, 28 and 27 in the previous map. One of the 2 positive players, actually. But yeah, there were definitely some situations that didn't really go Ali's way. However, he has kicked off this map fantastically. 11 and 4 for him.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is some sort of headphones issue because Alexi B hasn't got his on.
Hey, maybe it wasn't just muted for us, Tom.
Maybe. Although, if that's the case and they still managed to win the round, that is pretty impressive.
Who needs sound?
But then that came back on. So
it was a joke.
I know.
You don't have to be so analytical.
It's also possible, though. It is possible. Very unlikely, but possible. Seems like the guys on the Big side are still ready and raring to go, and it looks like everybody's getting back in, homed in for the game at the moment. But yeah, it is looking very good for ENCE. I think if they do just take this map away, obviously they're going to be happy about it, but they're still going to be sat there going, we could have done this in 2.
Yeah.
We could have done that. I'm sure that the guys who will be casting later in the day will also be thinking, you could have done this in 2.
At midnight,
when it gets to very, very late in the evening. So, yeah. I am... well, obviously after this, the game's cut down a little bit. Unfortunately, we'll be losing Mr. Byron.
Oh.
You're flying off.
Have I been eliminated?
You have been removed.
I'm very interested to know what Big are going to do in this round with their money. We're looking at it right now. It's 3,300 on Tabson, but with a max of 5,100 on Tizzy. And most of the players have 4K or more, but that's still not necessarily a very good buy when you have 2 players. You don't even have $4,000.
Shotguns.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
If they want to buy. But then again, if you want the AWP, you can only buy a glass cannon on Tizian right now, and that's not going to happen. So do they half buy this round, go for shotguns and pistols, bit of armor, bit of utility, full buy next round? Yeah, that will be the case. So Big playing things a little bit safer, and I like that. Again, you're 7-1 down. You don't want to keep forcing yourself into awkward buys where they don't necessarily favor you. It's already hard enough. Give ENCE one more round. It's not the end of the world. Buy up next and have everything you could have dreamed of. Maybe this triple AWP that we saw them run in the previous map.
Yeah, I think everything they would have dreamed of, though, might not have an 8-1 scoreline.
Yeah.
That's the only problem I really see with this. Basically, because of the way the economy has gone so far for Big, the half, unless they pull out a miracle here, is going to have gone the way of ENCE. And the thing is, like, this ENCE side seems so damn focused in this match so far, I just don't see them letting it slip. Either way, we are going to see this out of control being taken. Lots of players around this position for the CT sides. There's plenty of angles that need to be cleared. Alexi B also making a hell of a lot of noise. And that's actually where most of the players are at the moment for Big. Sat in hell. Got beat on the site itself. Now, it'll be interesting to see if anybody actually goes peeking into that angle, because although like having a lot of control over hell can give you the faster rotations up towards heaven, if there's a T up there, most of the time you're just going to be dead. Like, you can't shoot on ladders in this game unless you are like a lottery winner and just like play the ridiculous luck game and just hope that you hit a headshot while moving. And there we go. Look, there is that pounce. tabseN gets both of them though. He just springs into action, and whoa, it looks like the miracle has come through. Water has been turned into wine, and the only person whining at the moment is Sergey, because he is left alone in a 1 versus 5. Where did this come from Big? Still, the youngster. He can make this costly, but he's got no time.
Dear, oh dear, that triple hell setup. Yeah, I had the same expectation of you for ENCE to take heaven, for them to just walk over that A bomb site. But even after they spot no one up in heaven, no one watching their position, despite that very obvious outside control, as you said, lots of noise being made, shooting through smoke, jumping, being heard. Big just pounce up, or more so tabseN pounces up from behind and just gets that frag. And turns it into a double as well. That is crazy. No one watching the back line for ENCE, and that will cost them the round. Against pistols again, Tom. Big didn't even fully invest into that one. So now look at the cash left up. We got players with $5,000 after the buy, and Big only have 2 rounds. Again, this fast drop down B. Now, does Big expect this? Because we've seen Alexa B get away with it before. There is a rotate down towards that lower site, so Smooya seems a little more... Oh no, he's not aware again. X7 this time actually takes the kill before Smooya even gets a chance to react. And this vent dive has been so good for ENCE.
Yeah, I think the problem is what ENCE are doing is they're throwing so much utility in towards that A site initially that nobody seems to realize that players actually jump down the vent. They're just making enough noise to cover it. tiziaN has managed to turn the tide, though. It's back into a 4v4. He's surviving down in this bottom corner. He's going to hear all of the players rotating through so he can give the information to his teammates. Now, it seems like Sergey is more than aware that there is somebody behind this position. We'll just look to Molotov out tiziaN. God B going to be tagged within inches of his life, but the flashbang is absolutely perfect. The problem is the T side still have control of this site. The bomb ticking away. Alu with a nice shot onto tabseN as well, and tiziaN is somewhat isolated here. He was expecting somebody to be around the corner. Instead, he's somewhat left himself sectioned off, and in the meantime, the T's are going to utilize that. Alu again, the quick shots from him have been perfect, and he's going to find 3 kills. What an excellent round from Alu. And this is almost peculiar, because I would say that he underperformed in the last map. Even though he had a reasonable scoreline, I think there was a lot of opportunities that he had that he didn't take. This map, where a T-side AWP on nuke is just not very common at all, he's playing out of his mind.
Yeah, he's top of the server. He's 14-5. He's double anyone on Big score and more. This is insane. This is great to see. I think a big factor as well with these vent divers, let's think back to these old vents, right? If you go for those vent dives, it's very hard to get anywhere without making so much noise, because you've got to pop the vent to go drop onto the B site, or open the door, or break the window. But because Big or Smooya more specifically, keeps roaming around B, opening, shutting doors, breaking windows, whatever, and you also don't have to pop that vent now to get the bottom vent on the B bomb site. As soon as you get someone down in vent, you can just sit in secret, and rest assured someone from Big will eventually find their way down in that lower bomb site just from repositioning. Again, Smooya, I assume, was dropping down ramp to try and come in through that secret position and peek in the yard up through the stairs. That's a very common thing to do with an AWP in this map when you don't like playing in the garage, because it's such a predictable position. But yeah, I think he's not going to be running through the halls with his knife out anymore. And I can't imagine, like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to start tilting Smooya. That's happened to him twice now down on B. He's definitely going to be annoyed at his team for not calming that, for not being aware. So Big need to be careful with this vent dive, because ENCE are just abusing it to the maximum.
Well, double nade will be thrown outside. 0 damage done, so he's not too worried just yet, and by the looks of things, they're going to try and speed things up. Now, tiziaN is waiting around the edge of this smoke. They've thrown in close. I'll tag him a little bit, and it seems like the T's are more than aware of the potential of his spot. He will be forced back in towards the ramp, and already that aggression has been countered out. Now, the T side, slightly better buy in this position. It's the next round where things will be punishing for Big if they lose this one, and if they do, well, double digits on the T side is just ludicrous. Like, ENCE are just running away with this at the moment. Their catchphrase somewhat seems to spring to mind if this one goes wrong. It looks like they're going to go for more of a standard execute, throwing the nades in towards the site. Aerial still looking to hold on the outside, and we'll be able to force Tizian back. He seems to be being just forced out of positions again and again, and Smooya's just been absolutely ruined. Sergey springing to life in this map. Aerial will fall to the hands of Tizian, so still keeping it at least even for now, and the rotation has already come in for Nex around this B site. They seem to be much more prepared this time.
Next diving through, but the plant's already come through and it's open. The smoke covered his position as well, so Alexa B locks down that doorway. Tizian flashed out. He will move back into this one, and Alexa B is playing that ramp as well, so not even exposed to the window. That's actually a team Molotov forcing Alexa B out of position. Definitely not purpose there from ENCE. It's going to actually allow tabseN to catch Alexa B as he moves off the ramp. That might cost ENCE the round just due to a missed Molotov. Alu bails him out with one more kill, but there's the round. GodB's done it, and I don't know what happened there, but that Molotov forced Alexa B into the open and allowed Big to kill him, and the retake was just started. So whoever threw that Molotov might have just lost their team a round.
Well, I think they did. I think might doesn't come into it. They just a bit of a mistake coming in, and well, the half has been won already by ENCE, but that was the chance to really put the pain onto Big, as they wouldn't have had any real cash going into the next round. Instead, the T's, well, they're a little bit dicey themselves. A Glock for Alexa B will eventually switch that up into a CZ. Some AKs onto Lexi and Aloe. And well, the rest of the buy is a little bit weaker. They're going to go for this quick push in towards the secret spot. They've had some success down towards B throughout this game. Still, this is a big chance for them to actually get back into this game. Smooya forced off the angle. Okay, that's a little bit audacious. Cold Zero flashbacks, but not quite the right map or player. X7 though. Is he actually going to try and sneak back up? I think he may have spotted the man on the top of those silos, and because of the quick push down, they've actually not got many players over towards the site. tabseN, nice shot, will at least give them the man advantage going into this retake, but actually, considering the purchase originally from this T side, what they currently hold is not bad at all.
Yeah, and they have the site as well. Bigger out of utility, but they are still finding the kills. If GodB wins this duel, the round is done, because Aerial's got the bomb on the site. Does not want to commit to the plant, but with 50 seconds up, there's no rush to do so. tabseN wallbanging. Alu, he can shut this whole round down. He's just scared of peeking into main. He needs to try and get this kill onto tabseN. Gives away his position. He does get the kill, but loses some health in the process. Now, with his teammate dead, they all know where he is. Smoothie's going to finish it off. And, okay, while that round didn't work for ENCE, I really like the approach. They're throwing in some new things. These fast vent dives that are catching out Big. This time, they dive down B from Secret, and they send X7 back up the ladder to split that A site, giving a three-pronged attack through Squeaky Hut and Vent. Yes, it doesn't work. Big shut it down, which is nice to see, of course, considering how dominant this game has been. But at least seeing some new things here today on Nuke. So ENCE now down to full Glocks. As the loss bonus begins to culminate, 2,400 will be in their accounts next round, so they will be able to fully buy. However, for now, this is just a chance for Big to not only build up some cash, but some confidence.
Yeah, the other thing as well is I agree with the sort of Alu thing. Like, he was really slow to actually react in that round. I don't know if he thought maybe there was a second player there or something, but he sort of left his teammate out to dry, and by the time he actually got the kill, there was no real way that they were ever going to win that round. Now, he's also purchased down a little bit more than what I would have liked. He bought P250, and that means that going into the next round, he won't have enough money to buy an AWP and Kevlar. So maybe he's made the decision that he's not going to buy Kevlar anyway, and this just makes it factual now that he can't. But yeah, it's a bit of an interesting decision. He's been very good with that AWP so far. But yeah, as you said, this round at least, more of a farming exercise. This is a chance for Big to put their power forward, to decimate their opponents and to make some cash along the way, not wanting to have any chance of a reset going into the future few rounds, because in all honesty, I feel like Big, they need to get the remainder. I'd
love to know what this is. What the game plan is here. You're trying to bait Big into the T spawn. Well, you've done exactly that, but you're not even watching the push.
Maybe just having a chat, a free tactical pause.
Full existence, right? I mean, you're not going to win this round anyway, so you may as well just take the time to calm and work out your next round.
What if they just leave them?
That's the thing. Big do that a lot. We've seen that already this tournament on that cash game as well, up against, I can't even remember who, but yeah, there's a very good chance no one's going to kill Alu here. Look at them. No one's hunting for this kill. Smooya's not going for it. Now he's on the knife as well. Pistol out. Oh, he's not going to go for it. No!
Oh, that's brilliant.
No!
Go on, do it.
No!
Oh.
Why?
Oh, no. That's so good.
Why would Ali not commit to the plant there?
I don't know. I think he didn't want to get knifed, but the fact is what happened was so much worse. He could have gained not only money for his own team, but also meant that he would have got money going into the future rounds. This is such a painful position now, because he was saving money at least to try and get something into the next round. Like I said, there was a chance for an AWP. Instead, he's left on a CZ, and that has got to be so tilting. Also, you've just given a knife over to Big. Like, talk about confidence booster, but here we go again. Quick vent dive. Nex has definitely spotted it this time. There's no doubt in my mind that he knows that someone's dropped down the vent.
And tabseN, oh, he's in the back of the garage. I thought he was playing secret for a second there. There's definitely going to be someone in this position. Maybe even tiziaN, for example. You can never tell on this map. But yeah, tiziaN's down on B. He's ready for it. X7 is not surprising Smooya today in this position. But he may still get the kill because he's on the angle, and tiziaN going to walk into it. Next now has to defend against this ace flip, and he's being pushed from behind. Aerial's going to take him off the top, and now Sergey's dropped the man in heaven as well. God B is dead, and even though ENCE may have had an embarrassing previous round, they have bounced back in big form. tabseN is all that remains.
Main will be going down, and will achieve absolutely nothing. tabseN left in a nigh impossible situation. And Alu may have been humiliated in the last round, but he'll still be there to finish off the frag and get their 9th round onto the board. Now, there is a chance for a purchase here. tabseN could realistically try and give an AWP over to Smooya. The fact is, though, he has not been the sort of catalyst player in this map. He's 4 kills at the moment. 4 kills and 10 deaths, and I'm pretty sure he's got at least a couple of kills with the Deeg. So
The weird thing about this is, like, the staple of T-side nuke is outside control. It's these cross smokes, it's being in use, it's splitting main, it's going down towards secret. ENCE just haven't been doing that. I've seen 1 or 2 rounds this entire half with cross smokes. ENCE are trying new things, and it is working fantastically, but yeah, that's shutting down. But of course, Big are not going to be able to get a lot of frags on Smooya. This round, very, very close in terms of health. Oh, tabseN almost connects to Alexi B. And Sergey's on 1 HP as well, just to make matters more difficult. Big certainly in a position where they can convert this round and try and get a 6th of the half. But again, take into account, this is a 9 rounds on the T side of nuke. Very uncommon to see. Flash deep. Alu is ahead of it, but he's not going to be ahead of the game. tabseN's taken him down. And now Alexi B, again, so low. Nice nade, but tabseN can still hold this angle, and he should be winning this fight.
Yeah, it's difficult for Alexi B to get out of this one, and doesn't want to try and cross while the bullets are being sprayed. 50 seconds left on the clock. Sergey low. It's only really X7 with any HP, and he's going to try and wrap around in towards Hell. He's got a chance to try and catch on, but it seems like Nex may be actually watching in towards Heaven if that's the position he wants to try and go in. So a lot of this is going to be a bit more difficult. That's unlucky. The smoke actually falls down a little bit, so no real vision skewed, and the timing is not good. X7, oh, he may die to the falling. There's now 2 players on 1 HP for this side. Obviously, one of them now down, the second as well for Smooya, and while the 1 HP hero of X7 left to try and do it all, we'll be able to find a first. Actually, there's only 1 player left, and the clock may be down, but if he gets this bomb, he's still got an opportunity here. Any piece of utility could kill him, but he is going to get it down just within seconds of time. tiziaN running in on towards the site. He's got a Molotov. That could be enough to kill him, but it won't quite reach. He's already round the corner, holding the angle. X7 shouldn't have a chance here, but he finds the headshot. What an excellent clutch. 1 HP, 1v2. Too easy for X7.
Oh, that's so unfortunate as well. Smooya gets both kills on that A bomb site, shutting down the split, and still X7 wins the clutch. A fantastic T-side half for ENCE, I've got to say. Yeah. And even down on that B bomb site, I think it was Alexi B throwing down that smoke on the cross that confused tabseN. That forced God B's rotate down the vents, and that's the only reason I think that we even see ENCE win that round, because the smoke at least baits the CTs into thinking that ENCE are down on B. But we'll get more into this in the second half. That will be in just a moment. But first, a short commercial break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A very strong T-half from ENCE as they look to try and take us to a third. Train is looming as BIG have a hefty comeback on their hands, and they are going into what is normally the tougher side of the map. But throughout this tournament, it has not been the case. Nuke has become T-sided. They will be controlling the nuclear power plant, which is probably quite dangerous, in all honesty. Probably not professionals in that, but we'll be waiting and seeing if ENCE are going to prove us wrong. And the fact is, a pistol victory here may even be enough. It could stick them with the 13-5 sort of scoreline, of course. Still worth mentioning for anybody who hasn't watched over the last few days, we are only using half of the update. So the weapon changes, also the prices of the weapons have changed, but we are still using the old economy setup, the old faithful.
Yep.
Not changing to the new one just yet. So 10-5, Hugo, can BIG bring it back?
So we're going to rely on this pistol round, Tom. Without that, things can get very, very dicey. ENCE are already double the score of their opposition, but BIG have a lot of utility. As per usual, it's Gob and Tizian, the nade throwers for the team. What do they have up their sleeve? We've already got Tizian going up towards that A bomb site to throw nades in through the roof, potentially, but the rest of BIG set up outside this ramp play, so Gobby with his smoke in position could potentially just see this burst. With only one player there, X7, he may as well just back off after taking a couple of pot shots, because this is not an easy position to defend, and he realizes it, falls back down. Tabson's on the hunt here from behind, and look at the pace that BIG is setting. They are already down on this lower bomb site. The rotations need to come in soon for ENCE.
Already spamming shots, but CT side unable to connect. Now, Alexi does have that trusty CZ in hand. You can see the temptation to make the spray, and he actually manages to find Gob tapping through the smoke. Tabson's going to go for attempt 2 of the bomb plant, and will be able to get that down at least. Nade going through won't achieve anything, and Tizian does still have a Molotov. Nex has caught one on the rotation. Sergey has to be careful because Tabson is just waiting around that corner, lurking in between. Has to peek out. The Molotov from his teammate forces him to, but it's almost like a sort of peer pressure from your team as he finds 2 headshots. They believed maybe he didn't. And well, he's just doing all the work here. Great round coming out from Tabson. Nex combines with him as well to finish things off. And it will at least be a 6th round.
And one key that you mentioned kind of in the previous half, right, we've had Smooya definitely drop off in performance this map. It has been very difficult to run that up again with ENCE not going towards a yard at all, and Smooya multiple rounds getting caught out by that vent dive. But Tabson, he hasn't dropped off. He's at 18 kills. He's top of the server after that round now, despite BIG being, you know, half of the ENCE scoreline after that first half. So nice to see Tabson continue his performance. It's definitely going to be needed as we now have BIG on this T side. Next as well, he had a great previous map, and he's a little bit slower here as well. So we're going to need some of these stars to shine through. For ENCE, just Eagles. No armor, no nades, not much chance. But they have got a triple stack down lower, and BIG have sent all 5 players down into secret.
Got B, chance to make some money, but instead it's actually Sergey with the Deeg headshots to find a couple of kills back. Still got to be careful here because it's definitely not a round set in stone. The Deagles can do damage, but Smooya thankfully will be there to save this German side. Alu now left alone. Has been pretty damn good in this map so far. BIG obviously slowing things down to the point where they're waiting to see if he'll go pushing. But the fact is, it is going to be that B site plant. There's not really too much that the CT side will be able to do about that. Alu just hoping to maybe drop one more player, at least lose a rifle, cause them some financial burdens as we go forward. Because as basically what we saw in the previous half, you don't want to allow this T side to just build up cash. It took so long for BIG to try and fight back versus the finances of ENCE that when it came down to it, I think it was 5 rounds in a row initially. Then they won one and then they were instantly reset again because there was so much money on ENCE's side. Either way, they could go for some more Deagles here if they really wanted to on the ENCE side of things, but the fact is, I think they want that extra utility.
And the AWP as well. If you can pull that into the early CT side, Alu was managing to find a ridiculous amount of picks on the T side with it, so I can't even imagine how the CT side will be for that. If Tabson on a P250, SMG on Gob. Big just holding on to a little bit of money when they can, but we've got this quad stack up in the garage here. I like how ENCE play these ecos. They always make sure they're grouped up and have this trade potential. They've found a 1-for-1. Certainly not a bad start. But again, the more kills the Big get, the less ENCE are stacked up, and the less chance they have of converting the round. Next is dinged, but he does get away with just 16 points of health. A couple of players left on this site, but it shouldn't be too much of a task. There's only Aerial left, but they actually walked right past him.
He's going to be able to find one, but Tizian very quick to trade things out. I don't think Tabson's actually going to be able to retrieve that weapon, especially not if he's blocked by his teammate along the way. So that is going to be an extra AK hitting the deck and an extra bit of investment that has to come in over the next couple of rounds. CT side will now get their purchase in, so this is where we expect to see a wake-up from ENCE. And this could be the point where, well, if anything, we finally see what they can do on the CT side, because that's been the biggest problem so far for the majority of teams on this map, is just they haven't been able to convert rounds on the CT side, and when they have, they've been so close that they get reset.
On tactical pause before they go into the rifle round, Big want to make sure they know their execute. Again, a T-sided team as well, so while we've seen this strong start from ENCE on their T-side, it's not like Big won't be able to replicate this on a map that they are surely somewhat comfortable on. Gobby's still playing that SMG, and that is due to these rebuys. There's still a bit of money left up on this T side, but they probably want to save that for a rainy day in case ENCE manage to bounce back with this rifle round. AWP on Alu. He's got no armor behind it, though. He's got that one kit for the team. Gobby charging in through the smoke here. And again, Big, this is the normal T-side nuke that we expect to see, that we didn't see from ENCE, and Big are just showing us El Clasico here as they take control on Secret.
Look at Alu. He's just waiting patiently down in that lower position, but he doesn't have any armor. Got support from his teammate to at least slow them down in any sort of push, and it looks like he may go for a bit of a re-peek out of the vents. He is just ready and waiting. But the T's have decided, after spotting so much utility being thrown, they're going to switch it up, and Aerial may be about to come under pressure here. Flashbang going to leave him at least having to turn away, peek out. Tabson actually runs past for a second, but still manages to find that opening pick. Now, the T side, they've done all of the stuff that they've done so quickly within the first minute of the round. They still have plenty of time to play with.
Yeah, but X7 should be hearing these jumps. He should know they're up close, pre-aiming for players climbing on top of that railing, because it's a good off angle to take when you're re-peeking into this window, or this door rather. But does the timing get him? He gets flashed off the angle. God B, nice kill from him, but he doesn't check below him, and Sergey actually drops a bomb to the side. Big are going to have to fall in to retrieve that, but Sergey finds a double before he eventually goes down. Alexibi's caught in the vents, and I don't think that's been broken either, which makes matters even more difficult. Alu not going to get the lottery today, and while that vent is broken, Alexibi wants nothing to do with that A-bomb site. Big have picked up 9 rounds here, and this is already the start that ENCE got on their T side, but replicated by that of the Germans. This can make things very difficult, as now ENCE will be, well, facing some severe economical crisis.
I honestly think that the only time I've seen Alexibi not have a straight face was when Frankie asked him what he wanted to say to Sonny after they beat them. That's the only time he like laughed. Other than that, I've just seen he's like got this deadpan look of just pure focus, just the whole time.
Alexi, did you expect to win that game?
And they probably expect to win this map, but as of right now, things start to swing back further into the favor of Big. Obviously, this next round is going to be Alexibi alone with weaponry, and everybody else just with a few pistols, forcing up, obviously, the loss bonus now getting to the maximum. So, in all honesty, not going to be much of a chance for them to be ecoing in the next round. Alu will be able to bring in his trusty AWP, and that's where we could see a little bit more control held on outside, because in all honesty, so far the T's have just been running over them in that sort of position. They've been able to use their utility well to try and take control of that outer spot, and that's exactly what they're doing yet again, although this time it is just Gob B using the trusty MP7 once again.
Very slow default from Big. They may have control down on B, but X7 spotted it. Probably smoking off the left side. X7 going to go to the right. That is a ballsy push, but hey, it works out. Jumping through a smoke. The CZ will not get the better of the MP7 there. Now ENCE diminished by 1. We've got Alu boosted up here on the ramp room, but Big are nowhere near this part of the map. They are still not fully committed to outside. This bomb is only just crossing past the red crate. Oh, okay. Alexi B just drops it out of nowhere, and he will get another chance to re-peek back in, but tabseN has retrieved it and should probably just not take that fight. There's only one rifle here for ENCE. There's no point fighting against it. Get rid of those pistol players. Get that bomb down instead. It's Big going to be focusing on this lower site, but look at the rotation from ENCE. Everyone is here.
Yeah, Sergey's been an absolute tank with this Deagle, so wouldn't be betting against him anytime soon. Nice shot already. Manages to ping the head off of tabseN, and godb slightly isolated now. Look at the clock. 20 seconds left on it. They've got to get their move. On Smooth, you're going to be opening the doors and trying to open up this round, but godb's actually gone down now as well, and it's fallen apart for Big. This was meant to be the round where they make money. Instead, it's where they make their mistakes. 10 seconds left on the clock. There's still a chance for Next to try and get this bomb down, but he's going to be spammed away. A fantastic round from the CT side, and they're going to bolster their economy tenfold.
Yeah, that's a half-buy win there. That's one where they're waiting for the max loss bonus to kick in. Instead, they get the win bonus, which is, if anything, lower, but still plenty of money. They're going to be just fine with that.
Oh, definitely worth it with all the weapons they picked up as well. That's what, like $400 less? It's not really that big a deal.
Yeah, I think they'll be all right with that. Big upgrade there for ENCE, and plenty of players kept alive. Of course, the problem will not be in Big's hand for the time being. They did get the first 4 rounds of the half, so money is okay for them now. And now godb calling in the pause, realizing the importance of this round in the sense of Big can reset this and put ENCE back down to at least a force buy, because it's likely ENCE would have the money to rebuy if they lost this, just due to that previous eco win.
Yeah, that's always the problem with losing a round to pistols. It's not necessarily the fact that you lost the round. It's the fact that most of the time your opponent is saving. And so that they already have about 2,000 in the bank, plus the extra money they get from winning the round, plus all the weapons that they steal from you. Then it becomes a problem, because you basically set ENCE up now to be in a leading role in this CT side. You can see even after the purchase, there's still a couple of players with 3,000 plus, X7 just below that. Okay, yeah, they would still be struggling a little bit if they didn't manage to save any weapons.
But they would still buy.
Yeah. And well, the fact is here, that's if they lose the round. And well, that's a fantastic start from Aerial. Both players down, no smoke utilized to leave him isolated. godb also completely blind here. ENCE looking to bounce back after a slow start to the second half, and they're definitely doing a good job of it. godb hoping to try and catch one out. Instead, he's caught in the open, and now Tizian and Nex are in real trouble here.
And that was even a double peek from ENCE, one in the top of heaven, one peeking hell. There was Aerial in the garage to bail them out if need be. So yeah, nice work from ENCE, making sure all their boxes are checked. We talk about this team having great fundamentals, and again, that's being proven. 12 rounds on the horizon here, Tom. And the question is, if Big lose this round, or more when Big lose this round, what the hell are they going to do with their money? So let's see what Nex and Tizian can do to try and bail them out. It would definitely be more favorable to buy if you can take some kills with you and force rebuys from ENCE as well.
Or if you could save the weapons.
Yeah,
they've got enough that they could drop 2 AKs. godb would have enough to buy, so keeping these AKs into the next round may actually be the better decision here, and by the looks of things, that's what they're going to do. The only problem with this is, of course, basically what you were saying. It's like, okay, yeah, if they take some kills with them, it's good, but if they don't, they're sort of just giving a massive amount of economy over towards ENCE, because they don't even have to rebuy that many nades.
Yeah.
They've still got, like, incendiaries, they've still got a few smokes, HEs, like, they really don't have to rebuy that much. They've got 4 AKs.
We're going to have players on $6,000 or $7,000 after the buy in the next round for ENCE. And take into account, that's their second round won, Tom. They lost the first 4 opening rounds to the CT side. Now they've won 2, and look at the cash for ENCE. They are rolling in it. They're Scrooge McDuck with a pile of coins. 12-9 here for ENCE. But Tom, the big worrying factor is until ENCE close this game, is not ENCE's game. They lost a 15-11 lead on Overpass just moments ago. And that works both ways. Big are aware that, okay, we may be down, but we are not out by any means. So another rifle round coming in from Big. Guns dropped over. But again, no AWP for either side. ENCE have the money for it, but of course not going to force a rebuy when they kept 5 players alive, and Big don't exactly have the money for that. We do have Godby all the way outside, and now these cross smokes are coming through. Or cross smoke. There's the second one. That'll land. Bit of a Molotov there from ENCE, and that's going to completely cut off the push. Okay, no, it's not, because it's far too deep.
Still does a small amount of damage onto Tabson, but they have managed to take some control. B just holding on the pixel angle to try and gain a little bit of presence. He will take half of his health back, but the T's not really willing to challenge. They may have jumped through the smoke last time and found a kill, but not going to try that again. I feel like the CT side are going to be much more aware. Now, in terms of where the T's are actually going, well, it seems like they don't even know at this point.
Maybe setting up for this A execute? Or A fake, more like. But this bomb can always wrap back up the top side of Secret and split in through main. That's very common to see. Tabson could even go for this vent split later, or try and catch these rotations, because you know Alexibi's down here. Alexibi's going to have to rotate back up towards A eventually, so if Tabson can either stop that or kill him in the process, that would be massively beneficial to Big. Where will they commit, though? This bomb is still down lower. They're not looking at the vents right now. They are looking for this B-site execute. So despite these players on T-roof setting up nades, they've now gone in through the ramp. 25 seconds on the clock here for Big. They've got to hurry up. They are going to run out of time once again. X7 mollied out, but he's still going to get a frag for it and a lot of damage to Nex. 17 seconds now. Big are just simply running out of time. They've barely cleared the site, and now the bomb's been dropped. That's got to be the round. It's over here for Big. There's just no time for retrieval. I don't think Alu's even killed another player, and the bomb's been picked up, but it's certainly not going down.
Yeah, too little, too late for Big, as it will be a 13th round on the board. And now their economy is going to be in real trouble, as they don't really have the money to purchase here. And, well, they have the saved AK-47, but it's definitely not an ideal position. I believe it's Tabson with that in hand at least, so he'll have a chance to do some damage going into the next round. But for Big, they now are with their backs up against the wall. And this all started based off that pistol victory. After that point, things have just not gone the Germans' way.
And now it is the fourth. Now the money is an issue for Big, surprisingly enough. Again, no AWP even needed here. That's the problem. This is kind of what we saw from, if you remember, Yugi playing up against, I think it was Mao Sports just the other day on the Swiss. He was on the AWP on the CT side, but he just wasn't able to get any kills. And a lot of that was due to these cross smokes. Now that teams just regularly go for these outside plays, it's so hard to even find AWP kills because no one's willing to take that fight as a terrorist, and people just stop buying it on the T side. Aerial, that's the bomb. He gets a package delivered right to his doorstep. Talk about Amazon Prime. They're going to go right back out again, and Aerial's found himself a second before Godby eventually fires down from the heavens. Still, that package is in the hands of ENCE, and Alexibi going to continue holding on to it like, oh, Nex!
Oh, next victim, please. It will be X7 and Sergey looking to clean things up, and Smooya's going to hit the deck as well. It will be 14-9, and money just not really there once again for Big. They've been left in a pretty horrific situation, obviously forcing that one up in an attempt to break back. Instead, well, it looks like they're the ones who are broken. The third map definitely seems to be on the cards. Of course, same odds again.
It was the start of the first map. Those are not live odds.
But you can check them out at Loot.bet.
Yeah, I mean, Big are just forcing till this map's over at this point, I think. Look at the buy. Another rifle round for ENCE, of course. Big, an AK and 4 pistols. We haven't had anyone shine through in this T side. Tabson had a few nice early starting rounds, but no one has joined him, and that's the problem. In the previous map, we had Nex fragging, we had Smooya fragging, Godby had some incredible rounds, Tizian had that 1-on-4 clutch on the B-bomb site. And right now, it just seems silent for Big. Again, talking about the inconsistencies of Nex, we've sadly not had him, you know, while he's second on the scoreboard, he's pretty far below that of his teammates, or top teammate Tabson. At least he has the AK here, so it could be a chance to open things up, but ENCE are looking roaring and ready to head to the train yard. Big setting up for what seems to be an A execute with Tabson again down in this B side, just trying to keep Alexibi at bay. The Molotov will do that in response. And here's where the rotate can come out. And this is actually where Tabson can backstab Alexibi, so keep your eyes on him.
Already 45 seconds left on the clock. It will be a quick trade. And they do manage to get themselves in towards this B site. Rotation is coming in, and I believe there may be a man up above they've got to be careful for. Yeah. Bomb will be dropped, and X7 has done the damage. Tabson will be there to trade with the Tech-9. Looking for a little bit more aggression. Alu's waiting. The Tech-9 will absolutely obliterate him, though. However, Tabson doesn't have the bomb, and he doesn't have much time to do anything with it. The CT side will peek together, and that's a 15th. That's map point, a third looking inevitable.
Yeah, this is a fantastic map from ENCE as well. While we saw a comeback in the previous from 15-11, I'm somewhat doubting this from BIG.
Nah.
They've looked a bit stale in these past few rounds. That's now 5 in a row for ENCE. I mean, it's not like BIG didn't set themselves up for success in the second half by taking the pistol and conversions. But now it is just 4 rifles and an MP5. Aerial, look at this aggression as well. It's all the way out into the yard. tabseN does get that first pickup, and although some damage goes the way of 2 of these Ts on the big side, they're still going to make their way down into the B site. ENCE again cutting it off with the smoke. He has just been a nuisance here. And Sergey, he's going to drop Tizian in the meantime, coming through that hut. So BIG at least equalized back into a 4-on-4 with damage done to both sides.
Alu looking like he's going to be isolated here. He does manage to find one, looks for the head of God B, but won't be able to find it. X7 looking around the corner, but God B is taking names in this round. It's left onto Sergey and ENCE, but the bomb is still down in the spawn. I feel like Sergey's not going to push that aggressively, but if they do go back through the lobby, they may walk into the youngster, or he may walk into his opponents. It looks like he's just going to round the corner. It's almost like threading the needle at this point as Nex goes round, and every corner that Sergey passes, he's not quite meeting his opponent. The fact is, it's all going to come down to timing. If he can drop this bomb, it could make things a little bit more difficult for his opponents. But again, it's like the rounding of the corners, but there we go. 2 quick kills for Sergey. Now Smooya's left to try and save this for his team. And Sergey knows it's all about timing. If he can just burn this clock down, that will be enough for his teammate to help him win the round. He's going to hear Smooya running around, and he has absolutely no clue where Sergey has gone. And in the end, ENCE will close it. A nice little round from Sergey, and a much better performance from what we saw in the first map from ENCE. And while, of course, as expected, this is going to a third.
Yeah, the train finally coming up in that third and final map of this series. And I mean, it is open season right now. I have no idea where this one is going. We saw BIG with a monumental match versus Mousesports to get out of this Swiss group stage 3-2. An overtime game back there, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the same story, but let's not pretend that ENCE are not prepared coming into train. This is in fact their highest win percentage map, and that will be the last one of this best of 3. I mean, it's very open now for the taking, Tom, and I'm glad to see ENCE at least bounce back after a bit of a shaky end to Overpass, and we were very worried about whether they would be able to mentally reset coming into Nuke.
Well, yeah, now you kind of look at it from ENCE's point of view and you say, okay, we won our map convincingly. We probably should have taken theirs. Now we go into map that we're even more comfortable on. This should be theirs. And especially for Sergey, whenever I've watched him play this map, whether it was on Havu or anyone, he has always been good at this map. So I think that's going to be a scary prospect when it comes down to the big side. That being said, tabseN and Smooya were excellent on it in the game versus Mousesports. So if there's going to be the sort of battle where this should be ending, I think train is definitely the place.
Yeah, one awakening, though, is Alu, right? 22 kills in that previous map. Now we head to Orpus Paradise. But before that, we head to the Desk Paradise. It is James over with the boys.
It certainly is a paradise situation there for ENCE. 16-9 on their pick, and they'll probably be kicking themselves about Overpass, but it did not affect them, and now it's time for Train. We're seeing a good performance come out across the board there for the ENCE guys, right? They certainly didn't hold back when they got onto their choice.
Yeah, and it's 2 maps in a row now. We've seen BIG fall down 0-5 to start the game. This time they obviously weren't able to come through. It looked like they maybe had the potential to run away with things on that second half, but when they lost that eco in the lower bomb side, it was all over at that point. It was a lot like I said in the early segment, is they're good at setting themselves up on Nuke, but I find that their entries into the bomb sites are very lackluster for a team that uses utility so well.
Well, the kill disparity was just insane, though, right? Tabson on 25, and then next 14, Godby 13, and it just went further down from there. And we saw them be able to pretty much all heavy hit when it was on overpass. But going into nuke, Jacob, this did not happen.
No, and I feel like everything Sean said, in the previous segment basically got cursed. What Sean wanted to see was, he wanted to see the individuals shine up, right? Tabson was the only one showing up during this nuke game. You wanted to see, and you didn't necessarily believe in ENCE, and the youngsters were able to forget that overpass game. Yeah. That happened. So I feel ENCE were doing a super good job of just playing their own game here, just forgetting about overpass and playing to their own strength. Also, Sergey, once again, you wanted to see more from him, and you got that as well. He had a good game as well, finishing out the game as well with a nice 2K. So all these youngsters and all these, not even sure if they're that young even, but all these inexperienced players from ENCE were just, putting shame to our mouth and just showing you how to play Counter-Strike and how to forget about a overpass map that should have gone their way.
And this is the thing, right? They certainly did forget about everything that happened on Overpass and just played their game here. We speak about how kind of non-emotional the Finnish players are. Well, they just showed pure stone cold killing. They were faces of steel set across the board here to close this one out. And even when Big were able to get a few rounds in a row, right, you never really felt like they had a chance in this game.
Yeah, like you said, Big never really could find their footing. Early in that first half, it was looking very bleak for them. I think they actually lost the first gun round, and then they saved a bunch of guns, so they had a second gun round, which they lost as well. And it wasn't until they won an eco, and then that weird scenario where Smooya killed Alu after, or Smooya allowed, I think maybe Tabson or someone, to kill Alu after the time, and they walked away
that
from
weird knife.
Yeah, it was like a weird end to a round. And then the end of the half, we saw X7 win that 1-on-2 with 1 HP. I mean, there was never really a moment other than, like I said, that second round eco, or the second half eco lost by Big. They weren't really in this game.
Now, looking at what we saw from the ENCE lineup, right? Alu was on point. He was getting his shots in. We were seeing a much better Alu than what we saw on the first map. And then Sergey, who was pretty much missing for the majority of Overpass, he stepped it back up. Now, we speak about the impotence map that we brought onto the desk before, right? Could that have just been his for Overpass before we head into train now?
Probably. I mean, he's 16 years old, right? So you can't expect him to deliver at the same high level at all times.
Agreed.
It's fair enough just to have one of those games where it's not playing for you, or where you're maybe making those split decisions a little bit too late, or you're taking the wrong decisions in a game. So he'll learn by that, and he'll definitely gain experience. Good for him that he's able, again, to revert it, basically, and just forget about that one map, go into nuke and be a dominant factor. Goes for the entire ENCE team. I feel none of these players have been falling out completely. All the players are contributing to this ENCE lineup. And as much as we praise Big for playing a team game, I think we should do the same for ENCE, because they are, approaching the game in the exact same way. They're trying to play off each other, they try to trade with each other, and they try to have this strategical approach to the game, which I find super fascinating, especially considering these guys are from Finland, which normally is not a country you sort of like expect that kind of play from. So overall, I'm so far so impressed by ENCE, and I'm looking super much forward to train now, because I think they have a legit good chance of winning this game.
And the thing is, you see the people on your screen there, both Alu and Smooya. Okay, the AWPs didn't really get going on a massive potential here on nuke. But someone like Smooya should have been able to at least make it work, right? CT side, play it from rafters, but obviously he wasn't able to buy into it as much. That was the main difficulty here. Yeah,
Smooya is definitely getting outplayed by Alu right now. Alu's not afraid to take peeks. He definitely has the balls, as we've seen.
Various places.
Various places we've seen those come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing really well. Smooya, we called him out after that first map, even though his stats looked like he had a good game. He didn't really pass the eye test when you watched that first map. He's been missing a lot of shots, and that carried into this nuke map. Now, he's struggled on nuke in the past. Obviously, that's one of the reasons why I think Big isn't super strong on the map.
Yep.
Train, on the other hand, this third map, that's where he's had his money performances.
But train for both teams, right? We say about it, they can play it across the board. But ENCE, just their results, just the statistics, they look incredible on it. Admittedly, against lower opposition, but let's see what they can do this time around.
You see it on your screens right now. They haven't lost the 5 times they lately played it. And again, not against the top tier opponents. Optic is definitely a great win. Imperial as well, very good team. But the rest of them are not necessarily top teams. Whereas for Big, it's a little bit more uncertain where we find them. Obviously, losing to North on train is not a bad thing. Losing to Australis, that's expected. Winning against Mousesports, wouldn't say expected. But again, it's tough opposition they have. So I'm looking forward to see how well they can play on this map. And as you said, I think Smooya is going to be the big question mark now. We know what next is going to come with it. It's either going to be a blast out performance or a poor performance. Like, there's no consistency with this guy. But for Smooya, we need to see him play well. We need to see him go toe to toe with Alu if they want any chance of winning this one. Because Sergey is also a pretty good trained player.
Yeah, Sergey was holding down the inner bomb site. I particularly remember, I think, a 4K he had with one clip playing behind Pop Dog. And I would look up for him on CT side of ENCE, and then I would look up for, like Jacob said, Smooya opping outside, particularly by like Ivy around that 6 train area. He's really locked down. We saw him pick up the auto sniper by accident, but maybe he should go back to it because he was locking things down yesterday.
Do you think we'll see the Doomhammer come out, Sean?
I would love to see the Doomhammer come out because people do not like the Doomhammer.
I love
Just to tilt them, just to like, let's go. Let's make that horrible noise and let's see what we can wreck some Finnish players with. Now, looking at what we expect to see from Train, right? We saw Big have a phenomenal game against Mouse, but they almost let it slip away, right? I think that was our biggest criticism of them. Yeah. So against a team like ENCE, surely they won't be able to get away with that.
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to get off to a same strong start. I think ENCE is just too two-dimensional, basically, in the way they play. They can play a good CT side, but they can also perform well on the T side. So it should be one of those brawl games where we go back and forth, and both teams are going to have some trouble with picking up the consecutive rounds win. That said, though, I'm looking super much forward to it. I think Alo has a good chance of showing Smooya who's the better AVP player here, and I think Smooya has a good chance of reclaiming his status as the Red King if he wants to.
Now, one final question I had for you guys before we wrap this up is, do we feel like, because obviously Tabson, he still managed to perform to the level we expect and we get to know him to be able to perform at, but do we think some of the other players in Big maybe spent too much energy early on that overpass game just to take it over the line here and they've kind of slowed down too much now?
I've never been one to really blame, the mental energy kind of thing. I think players play for a lot longer periods when they're at home practicing. I mean, these Finnish players, they're in saunas all day upgrading their body. You can go to CS Money and upgrade your skins.
Hey, there we go.
Yes.
Yeah. While being in a sauna.
While being in a sauna if you're in Finland.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? You can get them waterproof phones now, so it can all make sense. Get on there, make it happen.
I think you're right. I mean, when you look towards the big lineup, you know what you're going to get with Tabson. That's a strong performance every single time. The two big question marks again, it is Smooya. How is he going to perform, especially after he had a very horrible map now on Nuke. And with Nex, he can be the star player. He can be the catalyst behind a big win, but we just don't see it consistently ever. So if you can step it up and you can have both Smooya, Tabson, and Nex going on at the same time, then you have, firepower matched up against each other. Whereas if Nex is going to have one of those lackluster games, Smooya's not feeling it, then I think it's going to be too much for the boys to handle.
Well, we are going to a third map. It's time for us to get underway and see Train. But before that, we're going to have a quick break, so don't go anywhere. Find out the exciting conclusion of this series between Big and ENCE.
Loot Bet. With Hellcase multi-cases, you are no longer restricted by random case opening mechanisms. Now, you are able to pick any of the cells containing skins and actually determine what you win. Use the promo code and dive right in.
Like a wrecking ball.